But if they hate him, why do they listen?
Most common answer. I want to see what he'll say next.
No, we're not talking about a friend's mom. We're talking about your mom.
No.
Now, if
Hell
it was
no.
your mom, I would take the hand job.
Facts are tracks. We're gonna break some vinyl down from the front to the back with facts on tracks.
Let's fucking do this thing. Welcome to Breaking Vinyl. I'm your host, Des, a.k.a. Johnny Fever. And as always, I'm joined by my three co-hosts. First up, the podcaster, coming through in high fidelity. Evil Ed. What's up, Ed?
Hey, Des. Hate to disappoint you today. You're going to be upset.
Okay. And the podcaster playing the deep cuts.
Dangerous Dave.
What's up, Dave?
All right. How's it going?
Dave, rumor has it you're a little hungover today.
Nope, doesn't happen.
Okay. And the podcaster with a degree in rock and roll.
Beakenstein.
What's up, V?
Hey.
Okay. So I definitely fucked us all up today by saying hello to each of you. I don't think we were expecting that.
Nope.
Okay. Like I was saying to my three counterparts, I had a good night's sleep last night, and I have had too much coffee, so we're off to a jumpy start. Squirrel. Okay. The mission of this show is for us to introduce each other and you, the listeners, to albums and bands which you may never have heard before, while also discussing the classics. And on occasion, we will ruthlessly insult each other's musical taste. So sit back and enjoy the show. Today, we will be discussing Two Steps from the Move, the fifth studio album by Hanoi Rocks, produced by the great Bob Ezrin, released on August 7th of 1984 by CBS Records. The album failed to appear on the Billboard 200. Oh, what a crime. The band's lineup was as follows. On lead vocals and saxophone, the great Michael Monroe. On lead guitar and vocals, the great Andy McCoy. On rhythm guitar and vocals, Nasty Suicide. On bass, Sam Yaffa. And on drums, the late great Razzle. Yes, so that's what we got today, and let's go into some band facts. I do have one for this. This would be the final album Razzle would play on before being killed in a tragic drunk driving accident in which the very untalented Vince Neil of Motley Crue was driving the car. So guys, this reminds me of one of my own stories. And if you'll indulge me, I'd love to share it with you. So I was in fact hit by a drunk driver. It was a cold winter night in 1999. I was driving home when I came to an intersection and stopped at the red light. When the light turned green, I pulled forward. At that moment, I caught a flash of red light out of my left eye. It was a red car full of drunken teenagers bearing down on me. They T-boned me directly in my passenger side door. At that moment, all I heard was the deafening sound of twisting metal and breaking glass. The next thing I know, I'm laying in a snowbank, surrounded by a pool of crimson blood staining the pristine white snow around me. I looked down, and I saw two broken bones where my left forearm and hand used to be. Then I saw the horror of the lower half of my arm barely hanging on by arteries and torn flesh. At that moment, as I was slipping from consciousness into the darkness, all I could hear was the horrifying screams of the teenagers who were trapped in what was left of their smoldering, crushed car. So that's what I got. Dave, what do you got?
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
that painted a picture for sure.
Thank you.
But yeah, so Sorry.
How do you follow that up?
Yeah, unfortunately, Razzle was the drummer, was killed almost exactly 4 months after this album was released. Hanoi Rocks was partying with Motley Crue. Like you said, Vince Neil and Razzle went on a beer run. Vince crashed the car. He walked away basically fine, but Razzle did not. So Vince Neil murdered Razzle. Fuck you, Vince Neil.
Yeah, he's a cunt.
This is the band's first album on a major label, CBS. The album also gave Hanoi Rocks their first gold record in Finland, but not until 1986, after the group had already disbanded. And then one more, GNR members, Guns N' Roses, were very much into Hanoi Rocks, and once they hit the big time in 1989, they released Hanoi's European back catalog in America on their Uzi Suicide label through Geffen Records.
So good.
So that's probably how a lot of us were introduced to Hanoi Rocks.
Maybe not all of us. We got two fucking dipshits on the panel that are about to shit a diaper on this album. Fucking dude, how can you two morons not fucking recognize great music and groundbreaking artists that were developing sounds before anybody was doing it that would fucking Dad, what do you got on this?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. Wow. This has been a very interesting beginning to this show.
It's just gonna get better.
First off, you must have had an amazing surgeon, because I've never noticed any scarring on your arm.
Oh, dude, it's horrific. I'll show it to you sometime. I always wear long sleeve shirts pretty much.
That is true.
Yeah, no, I have two giant 12-inch bars and 16 screws, and I've got three scars that are about 12 inches long all the way around my arm, one on the front, one on each side, and I had about 150 staples in it. Spent 2 weeks in intensive care and about 6 months in physical therapy, and I was lucky enough to about 90% recover from those injuries. But I almost lost my hand. I lost all circulation because the arm was almost torn off my body, and there was no blood going into my hand and coming out, so my hand actually started to die. But yeah, they saved it.
That's
Thank
good.
God. Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming you didn't wear a seatbelt since you were ejected from the vehicle.
No. Yeah. No. Yeah. No,
All I
didn't.
see is a glare.
Yeah, I wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah, well, lesson learned.
Oh,
Oh, look
yeah.
at that.
Horrific, right?
That's it. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of badass.
Okay.
All right, so some facts from this band that failed to appear on a top 200 Billboard chart. Let's see. Yeah, they're Finnish originally. They moved all over from was it wherever they started to then
Finland?
Helsinki. Huh?
Finland?
Yes. I was going to name the city, but I forgot to write down the very first city before Helsinki. Then they moved to Helsinki, then Stockholm, Sweden, and then London in 1982 to take advantage of a livelier music scene. Because, Helsinki, Finland apparently didn't have a big music scene back in the late 70s, early 80s. Although the band never gained significant commercial success, they have a considerable cult following, as witnessed by our one and only host here.
Yes.
In critical acclaim for their sleazy yet melodic style of music.
Oh, so melodic.
They have been cited as an influence by major bands such as Guns N' Roses, which everyone knows, and Manic Street Preachers, which never heard of them. So,
Next album we're doing.
definitely not.
I'm joking.
God. Yeah. And, to kind of think and double down on Dave's fact there, their catalog wasn't re-released and even really known until Guns N' Roses said, hey, you should listen to these guys. And then
Yes.
everyone, because everyone loved Guns N' Roses, didn't want to be one of the cool kids and said, oh, Hanoi Rocks is cool. Yeah.
But
Fucking
then there
full of
were the
shit.
cool kids
No.
like myself that were listening to it back when it first came out. So
Yeah, because all cool kids go to what school?
the Reach.
The Reach School. Yes.
Me and
yeah.
Fee's brother are the cool kids.
Yes. So I will give one more fact, and it's basically gonna support my opinion of this album. The members of the band spent the next 15 years after they broke up in various short-lived projects, and although they worked with numerous artists, including Iggy Pop, Steve Bators, Steve Stevens, Little Steven, Samantha Fox, Sebastian Bach, Sylvan, Nicky Hopkins, Joan Jett, and Guns N' Roses, they just never achieved anything resembling what Hanoi Rock's success was.
Dave, Ed, Fee, have you heard the new Sebastian Bach song?
No.
I haven't.
Yeah.
No desire.
No. Yeah, it's I mean, it's fine. It's fine. It's just generic fucking. Fee, you got facts on this one?
But the new
Oh,
Ace
yeah.
Frehley song is awesome.
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's Ace Frehley.
I'll have to,
Dave,
have to check
Ed's
that out.
shaking his head. You fucking suck, dude. Okay, Fee, go ahead.
I got a deep cut on this one. Hanoi Rocks. These chicks are almost hotter than Vixen.
Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Dude, how can you guys so Ed sends me a picture of a fucking winger, okay? A picture of winger. And he's trying to tell me that these guys don't look fucking goofy compared to Hanoi. Hanoi's wearing these ultra cool blazers, fucking suspenders. They're just like, oh, fuck you.
So here's the thing. I specifically picked the winger picture because I know that
Because it's extra
you
gay.
are going to think that they are gay. However,
They are.
that picture is so masculine compared to the friggin' poster of Pretty in Pink that was Hanoi Rocks.
Okay, so these homos in Winger,
Oh my God.
these guys in Winger with their fucking stonewashed jeans and like these cowboy boots, not the cool cowboy boots that like GNR and like fucking the Sea Hags were wearing at the time. No, these are the ones you get at like Fava at the mall because these fucking Magoos
Fava.
didn't know the difference. Oh, just fuck Winger sucks. Okay. Fee,
Yeah,
you have
because,
anything-
let's see. I'm pretty sure Kip Winger wrote a classical album
Oh,
and
oh,
it
just-
won a Grammy.
Oh, just stop. Just stop. Kip Winger goes down on fucking.
I'm pretty sure Kip
Pee Wee
Winger
Herman.
played bass for Alice Cooper.
Ah.
Yeah, that's right. Rod Morgenstein is one of the best drummers in the world.
Yeah, his big hit was She's Only 17. He just sucks, dude. Pete, what do you got? Anything
That
else?
was it.
Okay.
That was my fact.
Okay, let's.
I like Fee's fact. Fee, you nailed it.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think that fact felt a little lazy, but that's okay. Let's share our opening thoughts on this one. I will get us started. So I am a longtime fan of Hanoi Rocks, as we know. And I specifically love this album. When choosing the album for today, there are some other ones that I really like, but I thought this is the one I would choose if I was trying to introduce somebody to Hanoi Rocks. And I feel Hanoi Rocks gets unfairly lumped in with glam bands of the 80s. But the truth is, they were creating and playing a specific style of classic rock that wouldn't become popular for almost a decade after this album's release, when bands like Guns N' Roses and yes, the Black Crowes would change the genre of music away from the sound of bands like Motley Crue, Rat, and Poison to a more stripped down rock and roll sound that borrowed heavily from the classic sound of the 70s that Hanoi Rocks was doing when no one else really was. And for that reason, they deserve their due respect. And I'm interested to see what Dave and Fee found so offensive about this. Was it that Michael Monroe wasn't talented enough with his amazing singing and his saxophone playing? Like, they're going to try and tell me this is Vince Neil? No, this guy is uber talented. Was it the amazing guitar licks, these 70s Stone style licks coming from each side of my headphones? I don't think so. I mean, what is there to hate on this album? I cannot wait to find out. Dave, what do you got on this one? Have you heard it before?
Yes, I have heard it before. I've had this one for a while, probably since the late 90s, early 2000s. When I was really kind of searching for more of the underground glam rock bands beyond your usual, Rat and Motley Crue. And I think probably the first thing I had from them was the live album, which is I would recommend that highly. The All Those Wasted Years live at the Marquee Club. That was the first one, I think, and then eventually I got around to getting this one. I missed out on them in my younger years, getting to see them or anything like that, but did go see Michael Monroe a couple years ago in the I think it was Great Scott in Boston. Probably kind of a long time ago now, but he put on a great show. He is an amazing singer and musician. But yeah, I was kind of aware of them all the time, but didn't really start listening until later on.
Dave, something you said really, and I have it in my closing thoughts, but Hanoi Rocks is a live band, okay? This is not a studio band. This band, you listen to this album, it's one thing. You go watch them perform this album, it's a completely other beast. Unlike a lot of the bands of the 80s that were better in their studio efforts than they were in their live efforts, like Motley Crue, for instance. This was the difference because these guys were real musicians. Ed, what do you got? Have you heard this back-to-back whole album before coming to this podcast?
No, I've never heard this. I've heard of the band. I've heard individual songs here and there from a joint friend of ours, a mutual friend that has since passed, Joe Mariello.
Poor Joe. Rest in peace.
Great guy.
Yes.
I fucking couldn't stand what he was playing me. However, I will agree with you, Des, on the musicianship on this album is really good. However, Michael Monroe's voice fucking wrecks the whole fucking thing.
Explain.
I will.
Like I can see Tyler.
Get into the
I can see Tyler. Like that's fine. That's a flavor that you either like or you don't. It's polarizing. But why Michael Monroe? He's got a good voice.
I don't like it. I don't think it works with what the music was or was trying to do. Because really, I dig the band. I dig most of the music on this album. Well, maybe not most. Okay, about half of it. And then some of it was just generic blues stuff. But I was just kind of like, I remember seeing ads in the back of like every music magazine of Michael Monroe with that giant fucking hair of his for teaching vocal lessons and stuff. So I'm expecting this huge voice. And I was just like, okay, I don't like his lower register at all. His higher register is definitely better. And I just think he's I think he is just not well for this band.
I don't like his lower register at all. Okay, Fee, what do you got?
All right, I guess
you're done. Have you heard this album before coming to this podcast?
No, I have not.
And what's your fucking problem with it?
No, not too much. And I'll open with one of my closing thoughts is I think had I heard this in my teenage years, I'd probably like this a lot more than I do now. Being an adult, hearing this is for the first time as an adult, but now it's a tough pill to swallow for me. But we'll go through track by track. Okay. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I would like to welcome our new listeners in Italy. I love pizza. It's my favorite food. Little fact. A good pie from the Connecticut area. It has to be a good one though. I don't like garbage Greek pizza or around town pizza shop pizza. It's got to be a good thin New Haven style.
A Greek guy not liking Greek pizza. Wow.
Well, Greeks aren't known for their pizzas, so there you go. Fee, let's go to the mailbag. We did, in fact, get some
yeah.
some mail this week, and when my wife brought it to my attention, I couldn't help but to fucking laugh out loud. Fee, please read this email.
Yeah, this is probably the most accurate comment we've got on the site.
Holy shit.
From Artie Karanis, I think.
Sounds
Is his
right.
name? Artie. Thanks for writing in. We definitely appreciate this. I know I love this fucking post. The legend of Dez, aka Johnny Fever, is like the legend of Joe Dirt, with the whole world glued to every word out of his mouth.
Holy shit, dude. My
So
wife
I
in
love it.
the living room, she's like, did you see this? The fucking Joe Dirt. She's like, you are Joe Dirt.
Yep.
Just so you know, it's Dirte. French.
Mr. Dirte. I love
All right,
it.
guys. So we are going to return to the Fast Five because I enjoyed it last week. And this week, the Fast Five is going to tackle conspiracy theories. All right. So I will give each of you two choices, and you just tell me which one you think is true. Number one, Roswell. Crashed UFO or crashed weather balloon? Dave.
UFO.
Ed.
UFO.
And Fee.
Definitely UFO.
And I also believe it was a UFO. So that's a sweep on UFO. Number two, the moon landing. Hollywood set or lunar surface? Dave.
Lunar surface. Totally real.
Oh, fuck. Ed.
Lunar surface, totally real.
Fee.
100% real.
Come on, guys. We even have fucking... Have you seen the technology that existed back then? You're telling me they were driving cars around on the moon? Come on. Fucking wake up. It was Hollywood
Goes
set.
to show you understand how technology funnels.
Listen, guys, it was a Hollywood set. That's a fact, not an opinion. Okay. Next question. Kurt
At least now you're
Cobain.
explaining your stupidity.
Yeah, it was a fucking Hollywood set. There's no way. Oh, dude. Okay. Number three. Kurt Cobain. Suicide or murder? Dave.
Murder. Courtney Love.
I agree. Ed.
I didn't hear this one, so give me a sec here. Yeah, you know what? I totally buy into the murder.
Okay. Fee.
Nah, I'm just satisfied with the outcome.
I'm with you.
Oh, you
I'm with
suck.
you.
You're terrible.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll go with murder. Why not?
And I agree. That freaking whore murdered him. Number four, JFK, single shooter or government cover up? Dave.
I'm not sure about this one. Single shooter, I guess, but
Okay.
you know.
Ed.
Yeah, this is a tough one. There's so many, it's been so long since I really looked into it because this is probably the best, most fun conspiracy theory because you can go in so many directions. But I think for today, I'm going to go with single shooter.
Oh, you fucking chicken shits. The government's not coming for you. It's okay. Fee.
Oh,
what
I
do you
don't
got?
care about the government.
Yeah,
Oh, he said it.
yeah,
I
think-
do.
I think this is more on the government cover-up side for sure.
100% this is a government cover up. That's one magic bullet. Okay. And last but not least, number five, Bigfoot. Real or fake? Dave.
Real.
Ed.
Fake.
Fee.
You're fucking crazy, Ed. Bigfoot, 100% real.
100% real. 100% real.
Absolutely.
And then I got a bonus. Richard Gere
Cream
and the
pie
gerbil.
or no?
Richard Gere and the gerbil. Did it happen or not? Dave.
Oh boy. Yes. Totally. 100%.
And
Oh my God. As much as I would enjoy saying that this is real, it's not real.
Fee.
No.
Come on, that
No.
string slipped off that poor gerbil's fucking ankle, and it was lost in Richard Gere's rectum.
Here's why it's not real. They used to use rats as a way of torture and making people talk and kill people. They would basically put a rat in a bucket and put it against your chest and then they would light the bucket on fire, knowing that the rat will eat through you before it'll burn.
Wow. Fun fact, in 1988, I had a pet rat, and his name was Tyler, and he was white with red eyes and huge nuts, and he was the kindest, most loving pet I ever owned. He would sit under my long black hair on the back of my neck. I would go to the scrap bar, and yeah, I'd party all night with that rat nestled up in my hair, and he'd run down my arm and run around the table and then run back up my arm. And yeah, he was a fucking cool little dude, man.
Sure, there's nothing unsanitary about that.
No,
No,
there was, but I
not
loved
at
him.
all.
He was a great pet. Super
Did you
smart.
ever put him in a bucket and hold him against your chest?
I didn't, but I let him live on top of my mini fridge. And yeah, he would fucking steal stuff from around the house and bring it back to his little box on top of that refrigerator. And yeah, good pet. Okay, wow, that was quite a trip we took to get to the album. But here we go. Let's get into it. Number 1 track would be Up Around the Bend. And this is a cover song. And I love this cover song. I think they did it great. I think Nasty and Andy both played brilliant guitars on this, left and right. I thought the bass and drums were great. I thought Michael Monroe delivered a really cool vocal. Good version of the tune. I thought the backing vocals were great. But, and I'm going to be honest with you guys on this album, okay? It's not a perfect album. It's not like the Black Crowes last week where it's like, wow. No, there's problems with this album. Okay, the guitars have way too much reverb on them to the point where it just makes them sound bad. It's like, I don't know what they were thinking. It's like, you got to turn that fucking knob back, man. That shit's fucked up. And it muddies up the tracks, and it muddies up the really cool licks and riffs that they're playing. Makes them hard to hear. And unfortunately, this is an unsuccessful formula. It went to over and over on this album. This album's better with half the reverb on it. And they did it to Michael's vocals in spots too. And it's a shame. But that's what I got on the first track. Dave, what do you got?
It's a great high energy cover of the Creedence Clearwater Revival song. Way better than the CCR version. I hate them. Reportedly, the album was done, and one of the guys brought this song in. They started playing it and liked the results so much, they recorded it and slapped it on the album. It was their first single, and their video got pretty good play on MTV for this. Good breakdown and key change in the middle. They definitely add their own flavor to the song.
Yeah, I liked it. Ed, what'd you think?
Well, you know what? Considering I really haven't heard too many songs from the band, and the first song being a cover, it was good to get me comfortable with the band because I liked it. I thought they did a great version of this cover. Like you said, Dave, it was their own version. It was similar enough that you knew exactly what song it was, but they changed it just enough to put their own twist on it. The most important thing about the song is, does it represent what I'm about to hear on the rest of the album? Because it's really a decent cover, but I think this totally set the bar at the wrong level for me for this album.
I think I agree with that. I wish that they had slipped this one in a little bit later in the album and opened with one of their bigger hits like Boulevard of Broken Dreams or something that really just let you... How are you making a face at that, you fucking...
Oh,
Fee.
wait till we get to that song.
That song is fucking awesome. Fee, what do you got? Fuck.
Dev, I'll throw you this bone right now. Is I agree with you. That song is awesome, but that's might be about it for me. But yeah, this, I don't know. I like the original of this song, and sometimes when I like the original a lot, hearing covers of it kind of ruins it a little bit for me. But this was okay. I mean, it was like you guys said, they definitely put their own twist on it, and good for them. I mean, it sounded okay. The vocal was decent. The playing was decent, but just okay for me, but I think that's just because I like the original that much. So
yeah, I like the original a lot. I like CCR, but I also like this, and I thought they put their own flavor on it. That opening guitar lick that they play really gives it that Hanoi feel.
Oh, dude, yeah, I didn't dislike it. I just, like, the only reason it's not like a playlist is because it's not the original,
Yeah, no, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Track 2, High School. So again, we get a killer opening guitar riff, but again, it's got way, way too much reverb on it. It's not effective when you put that much reverb on a guitar. It sounds like it's lost out in space somewhere. Just trash production on these guitars. So as for the song, it's a rocker. It's got some nice picking guitar riffs sprinkled in after the choruses on the left and right, those little whatever lick he's picking out. I really, really liked it. But some of the lyrics on this are not for me. And it's just a stylistic thing for me. I just, I like my vocals sleazy and cool. And for me, ABC, 1, 2, 3, 3 plus 3. I didn't hate them, but they're not for me. This isn't my flavor of lyric writing, but it's fine. Dave, what do you got?
Yeah, there was a cool riff to start off the song. I thought the lyrics were kind of silly. According to an interview with Annie McCoy, originally was titled "Quit High School," but then they sort of worked it up and twisted it around. Great guitars, cool fills, cool Andy McCoy guitar solo. Nice growly bass from Sammy Yaffa featured towards the end. Micah Monroe kind of goes Roger Daltrey with his vocal improv right at the end there too. But yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. Ed, what do you got on this one?
Cool opening music. I really liked it. Fast, focused, driven. It really made me excited for what I was about to hear. Unfortunately, then the lyrics kick in and it goes completely off the fucking rails. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? It just turned a great musical song into absolute garbage, I think. The only redeeming part is I love, and I mean love, the vocal harmony during the chorus.
Yeah.
The selection of the harmony notes and the way they fit with the music under it, it was like candy to my ears. But that is the only thing I liked. It bothered me so much. Eventually the song grew on me, but I think it's just because I was so looking forward to hearing that vocal harmony. So yeah, it's disappointing.
This is where we're going to agree. I agree with literally everything you said about that song. I wish it was Quit High School. It probably would have been a little better, but I couldn't agree with you more. That's exactly how I heard this song, exactly how I felt about it. Tough. P, what do you got?
So you've kind of shit on some of my album picks over the last couple of weeks, Des.
Most of them.
Yeah, kinda.
Kinda. And, I stand up for it, with the exception of maybe Andy Taylor, and that was just kind of like a throw-in, wanted to see what you guys thought. You know what I mean? But the Foo Fighters, the Black Crowes, yeah, I stand by those albums.
Black Crowes were great.
This is a crime against coolness right here.
What?
This? High school. Crime number 1. I want to teach high school. Are you fucking kidding me?
Look at him. He's a high school
kidding
teacher.
me, dude?
Wow, he's putting this on trial.
He's offended.
Yeah, I am totally offended. I want to teach high school. And you see these guys, and you look at the picture of these fucking guys. How did Bob Ezrin let this happen? How do you let that happen? This is the least cool lyric of all time. And then you sing the alphabet at the end.
Not good.
No, not good. Not good. But the music's really good underneath it, but the lyric is just garbage.
I do. Yeah. I love the music track here. I just wish it was something different. I just wish it was something different.
That's why I rated okay, because the music behind it's really good, but the lyrics on this album are just... Ugh.
And you can do these kind of lyrics in a cool way, like Extreme did it. And it was cool. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was cool. And Nuno's guitar solo saves that song because it's so badass.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying.
But also, you know what? You were trashing the reverb on the guitars.
Yes.
Normally, I would agree with you, but I think it's just enough that makes them sound really... They sound bigger than they are.
It's more than just enough. It's more than just enough.
No, I disagree.
Half of it is just enough. This is enough, and then enough for another album.
Dave, what's your opinion? I mean, I'm just a bass player, not a guitar player.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of reverb there.
But I don't think it sounds bad.
It doesn't sound terrible, but yeah, I'd probably prefer the guitars a little drier.
I mean, and it only really stands out to me when Andy McCoy is bringing a song in by himself, and the reverb isn't swallowed up by the rest of the band and the music. When it's just like a
Oh,
solo
yeah, I can see
guitar
that.
track.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could definitely see that.
But also with a band like this, unlike with a band like Rat or The Crew, where you get these wall of guitars that sound fine over affected because they're not playing a lot of intricate 70s guitar licks. This one, I think that we would have got more separation from the track if they had just dried up those guitars a little. Track number 3, I Can't Get It. I love this track. It has some really nice changes and a killer opening guitar lick. I love this opening guitar lick. I love the vocal melody in the chorus. I love the lyrics. And the section of music right before the solo really opens up this song nicely. I love some of these changes they add to this music, which really makes it not feel so fucking remedial like some of the other bands in the 80s that were just so formulaic and just had such a standard arrangement for their songs, that's just like this. It tees up the guitar solo perfectly. I would have shortened this tune up slightly, and I would have chopped a few I can't get it's from the end. It's a lot of I can't get it's. But I love the track and it's fine. And this is going to come into my final thoughts on the album. This album needed a producer to come in and take this great live product they had that they obviously took off a stage that works live. Because live, you're not sitting with headphones listening to it. They needed to shorten some of these arrangements. They needed to brush up some of these arrangements. They needed to pull out some of the repetitive stuff that works live at a show and make it more radio friendly and vinyl friendly, in my opinion. Dave, what do you got?
Cool, moody opening, dual guitar riff. I like the off-time guitar fills in the second verse. He's doing, some cool stuff there. Halfway through the song, they get to the awesome chorus, which I feel like they should have built out on a little bit more. The middle section features some Alice Cooper band style music into the kick-ass guitar solo, and then they bring back that dual main guitar lick to end the song. I like it.
Dave, I can't believe you said that because, all right, I didn't choose it, but for our replace a guy, I was going to replace Michael Monroe with Alice Cooper because this song feels like an Alice Cooper album in so many spots, doesn't it?
I think it's the Bob Ezrin thing, but
my God.
He probably helped out a little with
you could
stuff.
put Alice Cooper on this record and it would totally be an Alice Cooper record. Like it just would. Ed, what do you got on this one?
The first few seconds of this opening, I really enjoyed. Then it starts to go too long and the build is weird for me. And then it just falls apart. Then you bring in those terrible vocals and I'm like, what the ever loving fuck? Again, another bad vocal song. This is when I start picturing in my head those ads going, did anyone actually take vocal lessons from this guy? Because he had more ads in Kerrang and all those fucking music magazines.
That wasn't him, by the way.
The Michael Monroe?
No, that was Jim Gillette.
Yeah, that was a different guy who was in the vocal ads.
Yeah, that's Jim Gillette from Nitro.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. That's who I'm thinking of. Yeah. Okay, well, there you go. They might as well be the same fucking guy. And
for the record, if you listen to 1 minute of his album, you are deaf for life.
Nice. The saving grace, the opposite. Instead of a lot of harmonies, I love the way they did the gang vocals. I'm like, this is like some of the best gang vocals I heard, because I'm like, they're big, they're full, they're not gospely, they just sound massive. Yeah. And I fucking loved it. But for fuck's sake, stop talking when you should be singing. Let me go in and start talking and telling a story. I don't fucking care. The guitar solo was good. I'm like totally digging the band, the instrumental parts, including what's coming, the sax parts. Like, if this was a rock and roll version of Kenny G and let fucking him just play sax and not sing, I'm in. I'm totally in. Okay. But he opens his mouth and I want to fucking jerk the wheel into a tree.
Ed, so usually, I don't have a big problem with a lot of talking on an album. In this one, I wish they had just kept it to the one Andy McCoy spot on Don't You Ever Leave Me. I thought it worked on that one track, but I wasn't crazy about how much they went to it on this album. It was too much. It was too much. It was too much. Fee, what do you got?
My first note is Des will think this song's really fucking cool.
It was.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't think it is.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out what the message was on this one, right?
What was it?
Is this like kind of fucking whiny, like, well, I can't get what I want? Or is it like a song against class inequality and like the haves and have-nots?
I'm not sure.
Another fucking crime against music. It's a whiny song, but musically it's great. Like, I like the song. I don't dislike it. Like, if it's just in the background or whatever, I can listen to it. I'll be like, yeah, this is kind of cool. But when I'm listening to the lyric and stuff, I'm like, oh, this is not good.
I like the lyrics on that one. I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah, not a fan. Just okay.
So, guys, this is Hanoi Rocks. Okay, so it's like there's certain bands, Talking Heads. There's bands that have their own sound. They don't sound like everybody else. And maybe it's not always great, but it is... It's... you know what I'm trying to say. Come on, man.
Garbage?
That's not what I was trying to say. Okay, track number 4. Underwater World. I fucking love this tune, guys. This one sounds so different than everything else on the album. Ed, what is wrong with you? I figured you would love this. I thought this was going to be your favorite song on the album. I love this moody guitar riff intertwined with Michael's saxophone. Oh, it's so different. It's just so its own entity. It's nothing that was going on at the time. I love the bass on this track, from what he's playing to the sound of the bass. It's really great. And Nasty and Andy, again, playing really great rhythm guitars, hard left, hard right. Solo, loose, cool. It's got this really great ascending resolve at the end, this fucking scale he plays. I mean, yeah, it's not super tricky or hard, but it's just cool. And Razzle's drums sound great. I love this track. Dave, what do you got?
Yeah, this sounds cool. The guitar and bass are almost surfy. It does sound like underwater. They accomplish that. Great trading off guitar left and right under the verse, and we hear Michael Monroe's sax for the first time in the album. Also, we hear the lyric, "Welcome to the ocean, welcome to the sea, welcome to the jungle, deep inside of me."
Yeah.
Did this lyric inspire the Guns N' Roses song? Maybe.
Yes. Yes.
More kick-ass guitar soloing from Andy McCoy, who does not get enough Guitar Hero credit.
Yeah, I agree. But he's a little sloppy, Dave, right? Like, kind of
in a good way.
In a good way, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was not a shredder, and I love that. I love what he's playing. Ed, what do you got?
I really dig the opening music to this song. Great job with the sax. This has a total Smithereens vibe for me.
Yeah. Oh, love the Smithereens.
Yeah, me too. And it's all because of that bass drum groove that they got going on. Kudos to them. And so far, everything I've said, the band is fucking great musically. It works for me so well musically. It's the goddamn singing and lyrics that just drive me up a wall. The guitar tone I really liked on this song. The solo I thought was fantastic, and I love the harmonics that are behind it. I'm really just enjoying the musicians in this band, and this is where I kind of first started noticing in I think I even have it in a note in one of the other songs coming up where I noticed it real bad. With all the left and right panning, I noticed some things I felt should have been louder. Like, okay, there's no singing, but there's a little bit of a guitar solo happening. Why is it so far buried behind the rhythm track.
Because there's too much reverb on it.
No, that is not why it's buried. It's literally a volume thing, and I couldn't figure out why they were doing it or what they were going for, because I'm like, oh, this is a really good guitar part. Why wouldn't they bring it at least equal with the rhythm that's being played? But yeah, honestly, it was one of the better songs on this album. But like I said, Michael Monroe just at this point is 0 for 4 for me. Other than his sax playing, I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
It feels like if they had had a guy come in to professionally produce his bands, a guy like Desmond Child, they could have taken some of these great lyrical ideas and enhanced them to another level. I mean, you got to wonder, like, what guys like Axl or Izzy, like, what were their vocals and their lyrics before they got touched by a really good producer and said, let's just punch this up and punch this up. I feel like they didn't get that.
Well, I think this is more of an identity thing because, like, there's a big punk vibe to this, but there's also a glam vibe to it. But they didn't know how to merge them properly, almost.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they're trying to do two different things at once, and it just didn't work.
Yeah. At times it didn't. I'll agree. Fee, what do you got?
Yeah, this is the first time on the album where I was really like, man, I wish I heard these guys when I were younger, because I bet I'd really like them still if I did. You know, this was the first not like fuck up whiny song that they wrote, you know, themselves kind of thing for me. And my first note is Des and Dave will love this song. They'll think it's really cool.
It was.
And probably their favorite, this or the Boulevard of Broken Dreams, one of those two. But yeah, I really think I would have liked these guys had I listened to a song like this in the 80s, you know, instead of listening to 2023. And it's too bad, you know, because it's kind of like the older you get and like you're not as forgiving with that kind of like weaker message, you know, that weaker lyric if you're listening to the lyrics in a song, you know. So yeah. Cool.
Track 5, Don't You Ever Leave Me. So, of course, I love this song. It's one of my favorite Hanoi Rocks songs of all times.
Please tell me you're lying.
Are you shitting me?
Oh, my God.
This is magical.
Oh.
This is magical.
Oh, right. Boy.
Oh, my God. So, it's got emotional vocals, amazing lyrics. It's got these gentle, slippery guitar licks in it that are like sliding up and down with these blues licks that are so good. They're in each ear, left and right. Fucking Nasty and Andy are just playing that classic guitar that I fucking love. Yeah, I mean, the speaking part, whatever. It works for this in particular song. It didn't need to be there, but it's cool because, you know, when Andy McCoy steps up to the mic and does it live, it's fucking cool. But that again just echoes what I said about this band. It's a live band. And I don't think it translated onto the album the way they wanted it to. But I love this song. Dave, what do you got?
I also love this song. The guitar and vocal opening is great. It's a re-recording of the ballad from their first album in 1981. Here it's a little bit slower and more refined. Might be sacrilegious. I may be putting myself out there a little too much, but I kind of prefer the Shooting Gallery version of the song. Andy McCoy.
Did they talk in that song, Dave?
No, they actually cut out the talking part. You might
that
like
would
it
have been
better.
A great move. Yeah.
Yeah, from 92. But maybe just because I heard that one first. I could do without the talking parts. I love the guitar solo. Check out Hanoi Rocks live at the Marquee Club 1983. I was watching that on YouTube this morning too. They influenced almost all of the 80s bands that came after them. Without Hanoi Rocks, you would not have Guns N' Roses. You would not have LA Guns. I'm looking at Andy McCoy. I'm like, is that Andy McCoy or Tracy Guns?
Yeah. Or Izzy Stradlin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't have so many of the bands, or they would not be, like they are if it wasn't for Hanoi Rocks.
Yeah, no, totally. Fee seems like he's personally offended by this album today. Look at him. I've never seen him this electric. Ed, go ahead.
Oh, I can't believe you guys like this.
Loved it.
Love this.
Thank you.
Which is more embarrassing because I hear this, and here comes the fucked up space-time continuum. This song, right from the first note, instantly made me think of Twisted Sister's horrible version of Leader of the Pack, which then just set me down the road of nope, nope, nope. Why would anyone say this song sounds good? Let's put it on the album. I even disliked everything the band did on this song. There is not a... I rated it 0.
Holy
shit. 0. Fucking horrible song. Oh,
shit.
So bad.
I couldn't disagree more. Fee, go ahead.
Hey, I rated it a 2. So did I go too high, Ed? I don't know.
Well, my scale's 1 to 5.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. Mine's 1 to 10. So yeah, we're close. We're on point. Yeah. These guys are from Finland, right?
Yes.
Why the fuck do they sound British when they talk?
They relocated to London, and they were heavily in the London punk scene. That's why.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, other than the more talking note that I have on this, because they talk like twice in this song, right? There's like 2 talking parts in here.
Yeah.
Fucking terrible. Well, I think that just caught me off guard. I don't know. Maybe I'll listen again. Probably not. But it kind of reminds me of something like maybe the Clash would do. And I think if the Clash did something like this, it would be a lot cooler. But I did not like this.
So this is where you would have to flip the album over. That was side A. Since we have this pause in the album, I was watching Back to the Future the other day. And it got to the scene where Marty is in the car with Lorraine when they're back in 1955 and they're having some drinks and she's ready to go. And it got me thinking
about making out with your mom.
Yeah, if I was in the car with my high school mom and she was looking hot in high school, would I fuck her if she wanted it? I mean, you can't take the chance you're going to be your own dad, right? I mean, that's like, I don't know how that works. So you can't do that. But is a hand job completely out of the question in that situation? I mean, you're not born yet. She's not your mom, right? I mean, technically, she's not your mom yet. She's just some horny. So my question is, Dave, do you take the hand job or do you not?
Fuck no. Gross. It's your mom, dude.
Fee, do you take the hand job?
No. Look, if we were 86-14 for male to female listeners now? Like God. Now we're like 98-2. Like you fucking killed it. Any female listener we had is fucking gone after this one. Thanks, Des. Yeah.
Ed, do you take the hand job?
Fuck no.
Okay. So,
however, if it was a friend's mom, that's different.
No, we're not talking about a friend's mom. We're talking about your mom.
No.
Now, if it was your mom, I would take the hand job. Let's move on.
Yeah, that's fine.
I think we all would.
Is smoking hot still.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Shit.
These moms
send me some pictures.
Oh, stop.
All right, track 6. Million Miles Away.
Ugh.
So, on this one, there are so many melodies going on in this track. Everything is over melody. I mean, not over in a bad way, over in a good way. Guitar, super melodic. Bass is playing all sorts of shit, super melodic. Andy is playing out of his mind on this. You got fucking Michael Monroe, incredible fucking melody on these vocals. I love it. And I love the saxophone. The song is fucking awesome. It's really good. Dave, what do you got? No, Ed's shaking his head. He disagrees. Dave, what do you got?
Ooh, a little cheesy synth from an 80s horror movie. Where's this going? Cool harmony guitars. I think there's some Bob Ezrin influence here for sure. Vocal and piano in the verse is cool. Was originally written by Andy as a love song for his wife. Then they kind of reworked it and didn't wind up as personal to him, in the end. But that's how it started, at least. Nice sax solo, and then we randomly break into some Adam Ant Duran Duran funky break for the guitar solo. It's kind of jarring. They could have gotten there a little more smoothly, I think. And then back to the original feel at the end. Nice double between the guitar and the sax on the riff.
Now, did you come up with the Duran Duran thing on your own? Because I totally heard it. Or did you read it? Is that something that people just say about this tune?
I don't know. That's what it sounded like to me.
Okay, yeah, me too. That's what it sounded like to me. But that's what I liked about this, because this is before Duran Duran. That's what I'm trying to say. These guys were creating ideas and not just being a fucking sleazy glam rock band. They were like, they were above that as musicians, and they weren't able to just put out straight metal rock. They were experimenting with all sorts of different sounds that would be borrowed from and picked on as time went on. I was watching Miami Vice last night. I love to watch Miami Vice. I'll just sit and watch it for hours.
Oh, for
And
God's sakes.
well, my room looks like Miami Vice. Nagels. I mean, it's like 19.
That is
I like
true.
this. I like to pretend it's 1986 while I'm watching Miami Vice. Is that fucked up?
You put on the pastels?
Yes. Anyway, bass player of Duran Duran was making a cameo on Miami Vice. It was great. And then
John Taylor, nice.
Yes, John Taylor. And then in the next episode, Gene Simmons makes a cameo. It was like this drug dealer. He was so good. They had him like with so much tanner on.
Everyone wanted to be on Miami Vice. Thinking back now that you mention it, that was like the show had so many cameos.
Yeah.
Like every week you're like, ooh, who's on it this week?
Yeah. Little Richard was on it.
Yeah.
Dude, I was just watching and watching and watching. I fell asleep and had this really weird dream because it was going on, and I'll save that for
Do you dream of Tubbs or Crockett?
I really like Don Johnson.
Fee is making inappropriate hand gestures.
So my wife had a Christmas party, and I said, I'm dressing up as fucking Sonny Crockett. And go, she's like, you're not. I'm like, oh, but I am.
Oh,
So I ordered, and I did. And I ordered this outfit. You guys would fucking die. You'd die if you saw this outfit. It was Halloween costume, Sonny Crockett. And I had the fucking phone in my pocket playing the theme song for fucking Miami Vice as I walked in with my white shoes and my white blazer and my turquoise shirt and my white belt and my pink watch. Oh, it was outrageous. Where do we leave off? Ed, have you talked about this song yet?
Do you want him to talk about this song?
Yeah.
Guys, I need a fucking therapist so bad, and I can't afford it. So bad. Jesus.
I highly recommend therapy.
Well,
I love my therapist.
I went to a psychiatrist, and I had about 4 appointments with her before halfway through our 5th appointment, she said, look, I'm not going to charge you for this, and you can't come back, and it's over. It's true story. I offended her deeply, I guess, saying whatever I was saying. And she was like, I can't help you, and you're going to have to look elsewhere. We're done. And that was it. She had a fucking messy desk. And I would always comment, like, at least for me, when I come in, can you fucking straighten this out? I'm like, you're trying to help me straighten out my fucking broken mind, and you can't even fucking keep a fucking tidy, clean desk. So I come in, I try and tidy it up, and she'd be like, stop touching the shit on my fucking desk. And every week I come in, and then finally it just came to a head where she said, I can't help you.
You need more than a therapist does.
I know.
Yes.
My wife says that too. She goes, you need an actual psychiatrist, but they're so expensive. What's the difference between a psychiatrist and a therapist?
One can write prescriptions, the other one can't.
Yeah, I'm not taking any fucking psych meds.
I don't know, man. I take one and it is the best happy pill I've ever had.
Really?
All the anxiety and stress, perfectly controllable level.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm no longer flying off the handle. Like, especially driving. I'm like, oh, sure, okay.
Yeah, but I'm the Nana. Uh-huh.
Jesus.
Oh, no, you are the most, listen, so driving with Fee, and I know we've completely derailed this fucking review. Driving with Fee, I've driven across the country with Fee, 3 times now, I think? Twice at least.
Yeah, 3 times.
And Fee is a control freak when it comes to driving. However, he is also 100% doing the speed limit with the most road rage I've ever seen. I'm like,
It's true.
what, dude? You're doing 65 on the highway and you're yelling at someone for passing you in the passing lane.
Holy shit.
Or like going down the road. He's like, did you get to the stoplight fast enough? I'm right behind you, asshole. And I'm like, wow.
Holy
I do that
shit.
too.
Oh, God.
Sorry. All right, back to the.
I drive like an old lady, too, Fee. I drive the speed limit. You live longer.
That's why you two are both fucking neurotic.
Oh, God. Okay.
Oh. All right. Million Miles Away. Oh, just so you know, I the next two songs I have War and Peace written.
Oh, God.
The sound, this sounds like a bad cross between a Queen and Meatloaf song. The vocal harmonies are great. The music has a few positives, such as the transition piece. That's pretty cool. I enjoyed the sax solo. And I wrote these notes as the song is happening.
Okay.
Okay. And now, guess what part of the song we're at? What the fuck is happening? Why are they playing another song in this song? Because that transition was quite possibly the worst. Because, like, that extra song that they decided to just throw in the middle of this song is actually a great piece of music versus the pile of garbage that this started as.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, oh my God, I wish they fucking made a song out of this. Like, the song is finally ending, and I feel like they were trying to write a prog ballad. Like, hey, let's do a prog rock tune, but make it a ballad. The upbeat song in the middle, great hook, would have probably been a good song on its own, but it's so forced in there. It's uncomfortable. It should be two songs. Yeah, I'm left trying to analyze the psychology behind their intended goal, and I can't. This makes no sense to me at all.
If
This
I'm not
entire
mistaken,
song.
Bob Ezrin actually played the keyboards on this.
It's confusing as fuck because it's like, okay, I get this song. Okay, it's going. It's not great. And then you're like, now why is there like, is this another? I had to check my fucking iPad to make sure it didn't change songs. Because I'm like, oh, this is, because every now and then you get that album where they just do the songs right back to back.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, it didn't change. This is still that song. And then they ended it the way it started. I'm like, fucking terrible. Terrible.
Hey, why did you hate this song?
Oh, okay. Pretty much for the same reasons as Ed. No, was it okay at that point in time to do kind of back-to-back ballad type songs like that? Was that
They were
considered
breaking the mold. They were creating the rules.
acceptable? That was fucking terrible. I don't know. Yeah, that breakdown there was just trash. I didn't like it at all.
Trash. He said trash.
Yeah. I would say with Million Miles Away and Don't You Ever Leave Me, if you kind of just scrapped one of them and beefed up the other, I think we would have been okay. But having those songs back to back, like if there was a third song in a row like either of these, I don't know that I could have got through the rest of the album. I don't think I could have. This was
What's
not
weird
good,
is
but
Don't You Ever Leave Me, fucking Million Miles Away, Boulevard of Broken Dreams. This is the meat and potatoes of this album for me. This is where it gets good for me. These
This
are my
is when
favorite
the album
songs.
completely goes off the rail for me.
No, this is where it gets good, and I love it.
No.
This is the best part of the album.
Oh,
but this
My
was
three
a
favorite
crime
songs.
against coolness.
No,
Crime
it's my
against
three favorite
coolness
songs.
right here.
You're
Not
a crime
good.
against coolness. Track
I'm a
number
victim.
7, Boulevard of Broken Dreams. So this is probably my favorite Hanoi Rocks song of all times. This intro gets me excited. The rhythm guitars have everything I love about them. It's got slide. It's got 70s licks. It's got chords you weren't getting from other metal bands at the time. This is fucking great. This is everything that was missing from the bands of the 80s, like Poison and The Crew and even Rat. These were the licks and the chords and the guitar sounds that they just took out of metal for so many years that made it sound so generic. And you have to tip your hat to them for doing it. It's fucking great. Boulevard of Broken Dreams, a fucking kick-ass song. Dave, you got
That's right. I agree. I
All right.
love this song. When it kicks in, it's such a great groove. According to Andy McCoy, it's a song about drugs.
Nice.
We wanted to. I wanted to cover this song in my old original band, but we never quite got there. That was a shame. But the bridge goes someplace else. It's sort of a nice change in music, and I love that slide guitar in there. That's so cool.
So good. So good. Ed,
This doesn't work for me,
why?
and I'm going to tell
Explain
you
yourself.
why. So the bass and drums have carried this album, and just kudos to them. I have not thought the bass and drums underperformed anywhere so far. They've just it's been solid. The guitars I thought were the same up until now. I think these is the cheesiest guitar parts like I've heard on this album so far. Everything feels out of place. I see where they're trying to go with this chorus, but they fail epically, and this is why. Previous songs had these amazing harmonies and really big, full gang vocals. This chorus is missing all of that. It's weak, it's unenergetic gang vocals. It's almost like the producer forgot what they did on previous songs. I feel like they ran out of money, time, or were high when they mixed the song because it is so drastically different. The quality of the gang vocals compared to previous versions of the gang vocals on this album, it ruined it for me. I wanted to like this song. I really did. But because of just all the, I don't know, it got bizarre for me, this song.
No, you're wrong.
Yes.
My mustache disagrees with you. Hey, did you enjoy this song?
I did.
Nice.
Very much. Very much. When I looked at the track listing coming into this, I recognized a couple of tracks by name, Up Around the Bend and then Boulevard of Broken Dreams. I'm like, did Green Day cover this in the 90s? When they did this? God, I fucking hope not, because I'll hate this song like I hate them. Thank God that, and I don't know, this track was probably easy for me to like because I hated the last two songs so much that like the more I heard it, I was like, oh, that it's over. It's over. Thank you, God, it's over. But a playlist, I really, the more I listened to the song, the more I liked it this week. I do like this song. I'll admit I like it a lot. Yeah.
Talking through this album, I mean, I'm in love with the idea of Hanoi Rocks and what they did for music. And yeah, but the album has some holes in it. I mean, it does. It does. Track number 8, Boiler. So on this one, I love this descending blues guitar riff in the intro that Andy sprinkles in throughout the rest of the song. He plays some really great licks on this album. They're so melodic and they're so memorable, and they stand out in every song. And that's one of the things that I love about this album is every song has something in it that I like. Usually it's coming from Andy McCoy or Nasty. But yeah, it's great. And along with this straight Marshall guitar sound that they're getting, this is like a Marshall stack with like, Les Paul plugged into it, turned up to 10, unfortunately with too much reverb on, but whatever. It's really great. And this is a sound that guys would start chasing down as bands as the makeup came off, the hairspray came out, the cowboy boots went on, the pointy guitars disappeared, and the Les Pauls and Strats started coming back. This is what people were shooting for. They wanted this sound. And it's great. And we get, great solos. And these are just some of the things that separated Hanoi Rock from the pack in my mind. They were doing it first. Dave, what you got?
Yeah, cool, simple riff, cool guitars. Andy McCoy describes this one as a pub song. I don't love the weird harmony, sing-along gang vocal. I think it would have been much better if Micah Monroe sang this regular. We could give them credit for trying to mix it up and not let things get stale, though. I don't know. Music's all great. I will subtract points for the lyric, "I'm her boy and her toys in my pants." we could have went a little more imaginative with that one.
Oh man, I'm Michael J. Fox and my toy is in my pants. Go get
Your
it,
mom?
Oh, boy.
Ed, what do you got?
All right. This is the second big goose egg that I rated on this album. This is the intro. I wrote 3 notes. The intro is too long and the lead guitar is too quiet. My second note, oh my fucking God, seriously? And the third one, this is terrible. Please stop.
I don't like those notes. Fee, what do you got?
Cool intro. I like the music, musically, it's great. Terrible chorus. It's just fucking awful. I don't know. Like, and maybe I'm just hearing what Dave was hearing with the gang vocal or whatever, but just not good. Not good.
Track 9, Futurama. I have to imagine that this is the song Fee hated the most. Sounds like a British punk song, and I just know how you feel about British punk bands, so this just feels like a song that Fee hates. I love this. I love this punk blues song. It's fun. It's filled with great backing vocals and a crazy cool guitar solo with tons of great guitar playing. Yeah, I wish though during the actual guitar solo, Nasty had played like some really cool loose Izzy Stradlin licks instead of just this single note bar chord stop thing where he's going. I didn't like it. It didn't work for me. But overall, I love the song. I mean, it's not a hit. It's not something that I'm like, I wouldn't be like, I got to hear this song, but I enjoy it. It's good. Dave, what do you got?
The music rocks, this one.
Yeah.
I think we're describing a futuristic robot wife with the lyrics. I didn't get that. The lyrics were kind of dumb, but the music is really good, so that kind of makes up for it. Middle section with the drums could have been tightened up a little bit, but I thought that vocal and guitar trade-off was super cool.
It's funny, you were saying about the sex robot. So the technology is there. They're making these sex dolls now that look like the real thing. I mean, these things are amazing.
Nice.
And I considered ordering one. I mean, about $800, but I don't know, man. My wife comes upstairs and finds this thing under the couch. I think it could be a problem. Ed, what do you got?
Under the couch.
Well, you got to hide it somewhere. I can't have it
place.
sitting on my couch in a Motley Crue shirt.
I don't know. You could. I think that'd be pretty entertaining.
Keep your sex robot.
Wow.
Treat your sex robot with respect.
Keep the love canal clean.
Oh my God.
You gotta drain it.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, this has gone so wrong. Futurama. Now we're going in the punk direction. Okay. The song doesn't fit with the rest of the album, but I do dig this song. I do like a good punk song, especially the music, lyrics. I'm not a lyric guy, but if the melody's good, I'll enjoy it. Overall, it's an okay punk song. I think it's kind of average, but I get what they were going for. I just don't think it fits the rest of the album.
Yeah, I disagree. Fee, what do you got?
I agree with that, Ed.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit the rest of the album, but like Dave said on the last track, like give them credit for changing it up. They do a lot of that on this album, and I do give them a lot of credit for that, probably more than I should. But stylistically, this is not for me. Played out.
On the last album, Ed is complaining, every song sounds the same. I'm starting to feel like I'm listening to the same song over and over and over again. So these guys give you a bunch of this one sounds like Duran Duran. This one sounds like Iggy Pop. This one sounds like the Kinks. I don't like it. They don't belong together on the same album. Find yourself.
You're clearly only hearing what you want to hear.
Always. That's one of my problems.
This is why you need a psychiatrist.
This is why I need a psychiatrist, but I'm leaning on you guys.
No, like I said, I like the music on this album for most of the songs. And I think there's a good variety, and I can see the influence that they had on future bands. The problem is, I just really dislike Mike Monroe's voice and style. I love his sax playing, and I love if it's him that sings all those harmonies. Fucking fantastic. They're beautiful. The problem is, you need to have a little bit of variety in the songs, but you need to have an overall tone and kind of direction. And I think this just swings too far to one side.
Yeah.
That's all.
Fee, what do you got?
Just too much of a swing.
Yeah. What are we talking about here?
We're talking about
Sex
song
Dogs.
not fitting on the album and how
Oh.
I want variety, but I don't want variety.
Futurama.
Oh, we're still yeah. Played out. Not
Okay.
I don't like the
I
style.
like how he
but,
just
yeah.
that's it played out.
Yeah.
Ed, I have to agree with you though. Where this album, in the spots this album loses me, it's always because of the lyrics or the vocals. Always. I'm never like, oh, I don't like this music. It's
Right.
always a problem with Michael Monroe, either the lyrics he's written or the way he's delivering them. So I will give you that.
Well, except for that one
track
change
10.
in Million Miles Away. That fucking
That song
That
is
was
amazing.
terrible.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Final track on the album is called Cutting Corners. Don't, it's too easy. I'm not teeing you guys up. Just leave it alone. So it's called Cutting Corners. This song has amazing melody coming from every direction. And it all works so well together. And I know I keep saying this. Sounds much different than their hair metal bands that they were competing with in the day. But it does. It sounds different. It sounds different than the hair metal bands that they were competing with in the day. And that's what the charm of Hanoi Rocks is. It's not hair metal. This is rock and roll. There's a difference. They were dressed like hair metal and they were dressed like glam, but at the root they weren't. They were a rock and roll band. And they were experimenting with so many different sounds in a classic way. They were trying to have the integrity of a 70s band, but wrapped it up in an 80s glam package that would make them relevant with bands like Poison, Motley Crue, all these other bands. And I think they were better. The songwriting, it wasn't as refined. The hits, they weren't there like some of these other bands because I don't think they had the budget behind them to bring their songs to the next level to where they would have these monster hits. But honestly, if the hit was going to be Talk Dirty to Me, or I was just going to have Boulevard of Broken Dreams be my best song, I would rather be giving the public Boulevard of Broken Dreams and looking back and saying, this is what I did. Because fucking Talk Dirty to Me sucks. Even though it's very catchy. Dave, what do you got?
Desi, I agree with you 100% on that statement.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, and they did all this before those other bands. So,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, Cutting Corners, another killer groove, and interesting guitar parts. They go unexpected places with the melody. There was some nice harmony backups there that felt like they could have brought them back a little bit. Like they were just a little too loud. They could have, EQ'd them or turned the volume down or something to make them fit a little better in the track. And what's with the talking in the middle?
It's too much.
Yeah.
So I just got a question, Dave, because this is something that I struggle with. CC DeVille, is it good or not? The lead guitar playing.
Yeah, CeCe's a fucking great guitar player.
He is, right? And it's not like he was doing his best to be a real rock and roll. He's playing rock and roll leads in a time when people were like really shredding. I think he gets a bad rap, CC. So I just wanted to put that in.
He's not like a super duper shredder, but
No.
He plays for the song and plays some ridiculous stuff, but look at Poison.
Yeah,
a ridiculous
Tasty
fun
Legs.
band. But he wrote half of those songs too. So
He
that's
played
that's
Tasty
really-
Licks.
Yeah.
Ed, you like CC? You think he does some good lead guitar work?
So it's funny because when you ask that to Dave, I'm like, no, I'm not a fan. But the way you both explained it, I agree 100%. He's not a shredder, and I will give him all the credit in the world. He wrote guitar parts for the song, and not for him. And yeah, I think he nailed it for that. Yeah, he's
agree.
a good guitar player, and you're right, he is probably underrated, but he's not the guy I think of when I think of guitar players from that time.
No, but I think Dave nailed it. Underrated for a guy who played for the song because he had some very iconic guitar solos that fit some big hits.
Perfect.
Big hits.
Perfectly written songs.
Yeah, and dude, and again, saying "Talk Dirty to Me" sucks. It's kind of a bullshit statement because we all know that I fucking loved it when it came out. That was the first one in Strawberries behind that album. I was like, oh, great. And then I fucking dressed like fucking so whatever.
With your hair all teased up.
Yeah.
All teased up.
You know what? I'd put CC solos in with like Richie Sambora solos where they were written for the song and not to showboat.
Richie Sambora crushes CC DeVille as a musician and a guitar player.
But the solos are written for the songs.
Yes.
And that's kind of, because I think Richie's also a very underrated guitar player.
Oh my dude, underrated guitar player, underrated singer, underrated musician. Richie Sambora is fucking in God territory.
Yet they're both raging alcoholics.
Yes. And this is coming from a guy that in the day hated Bon Jovi just strictly on the way they looked. I was like, this is everything I hate in rock and roll. Whatever. I hated the perms. I hated the stonewashed jeans. I just thought it was all goofy, but great band. And Fee, just CC DeVille, yes or no? That simple.
Yes.
Okay. Did you want to take a swing at that last track? Either you guys want to just wrap this up? Do you hate it? Do you love it? I mean, just go that simple.
I thought it was okay. I do have a comment. Like, I thought this was my best quote on the whole thing,
Oh, and I was going to cut you off. Go.
Yeah, you were going to cut me out, dude. Don't do that.
Let it rip, Chater Chip.
All week I was cracking up listening to this song because I'm like, there's Dez cutting corners, painting. Fucking, they're just singing this little chorus to himself. Yeah. So I was just laughing all the way to work, just listening to this song. I thought it was hilarious. Dez and the painting crew fucking cutting corners all day.
Cutting corners to fucking Hanoi Rocks.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it. We did it. We done the album. Let's move on to
the bonus track.
The bonus track was brought to us by Andy Farmer of the Vermont area. Funny Farm? Okay.
Yes.
So the track is Half the Way Valley by a band that was big in the San Francisco area when I was living there back in the late 80s, the Sea Hags. All right. So this is just cool. All right. It's great music. Is it great music? No. Are these amazing vocals? No. But is it fucking cool as fuck and so damn sleazy? You bet your ass it is. This is one of the bands the cool kids was listening to back in the day. And I was listening to it. And I love it. And it's funny because this is one of those songs. I'll just be, all right. So for instance, when I was listening to this out loud in the living room, when I was reviewing it for the show, my wife came in, she goes, you know that this is just a nostalgia thing for you. You know this song sucks and no one else likes it, right? It's just something that you think you like because they were so like niche in the day and you listened to them and nobody did. So you just, I go, fuck you. I go, Dave loves this song too. So this song is fucking super cool. It's always taking me half the way valley. I fucking love it. This is 85.9 watts just on its coolness. I fucking love it. Dave, what do you got? Half the Way Valley.
Fuck yeah, rock and roll. The singer does not have great range, huh?
No.
I was noticing that as I was listening to it.
No range.
Cool chorus. See, kids, back in the day, you could get a record deal and your video on MTV if you were just a kick-ass local band with a handful of pretty cool songs.
That's it.
and not a rich heir to the kid whose dad runs a record company,
Right.
which you have to be today to be a successful musician.
And you can't play an instrument today. If you play an
Yeah.
instrument or can sing, you're not in.
Yeah, you're done. It's a good guitar solo, too short. My score is 69.
Dude, I agree, Dave. Too short, because if you watch the video, this guy looks like Joe Perry. He's so cool, and I want to see him play guitar longer.
Yeah.
And the singer had no vocal range, but he had great hair and a black Les Paul. Ed, go.
Des, was your score 85.9?
Yes, embarrassingly enough, it was.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
It's way too high.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's like you're that puppy dog with a shiny new toy.
I was.
Or you just found, like, you dug up something that you forgot was your favorite toy.
Yeah, the old toy from under the couch from 86.
Oh, I forgot I had this.
Oh, 86. 86.
So I would like to give Delana a high five. High five. I'm with her. This is another 80s generic LA strip sounding band. I just can't find anything I like or dislike about the song. It's completely unmemorable.
Okay.
Yeah, I gave this 45 watts.
This would actually be a Haight-Ashbury strip song for the day, not LA strip, but whatever.
No, it's the sound of like the LA Guns, the whole thing, all that. When I hear that tone, the singer, the recording style, everything about it reminds me of that sound.
Little
and I put
Junkyard,
LA Guns
right?
at the top of it. No, I would listen to any Junkyard over this.
Oh, I would too. Junkyard is way better than this, but this is
Yeah.
so sleazy and cool. Fee, what do you got? You loved this one, didn't you?
I did like this song. I had forgot about these guys. I know I had heard them before, but I can't remember where, and it was probably with Joe Moriello, like the rest of you guys, So
Yeah. He had such great taste.
Well, he had interesting taste. Definitely
Interesting.
different
I
than
would
mine.
describe it as interesting.
Yeah. I enjoyed this song a lot more than pretty much any song on the Hanoi Rocks album. So yeah, I liked it. Little dirty solo, I like that. Overall, I'll give this one a 68.
68. Okay.
Yeah.
Ed, will you please calculate those scores? In reality, it was probably like a 72, but I'm sticking with my 86.9. Okay.
All right. So, Half the Way Valley by the Sea Hags
Yes.
is pushing 66.97 watts.
And Dave, where does that land it on the Breaking Vinyl Wall of Fame?
That puts it at number 10, just under Fish's Chalk Dust Torture and above the Throbs Underground.
I think that should be flipped around. This is better than Fish, but not as good as Underground. So it's backwards. Would you agree, Dave?
Huh? What do you mean?
So this is actually better than Fish, but not as good as Underground.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's backwards. All right, guys. So let's just quickly wrap this fucking show up. It's been crazy. So what song would I cut from the Hanoi Rocks album? I would cut High School. I didn't care for it. And I would replace it. I would replace it. My favorite song is Boulevard of Broken Dreams. So that's where that goes. And I'll just go on and say I would remove Nasty Suicide, and I would replace him with one Izzy Stradlin. I feel Izzy could add to the songwriting that would elevate these songs to the next level, and he would be just fine on rhythm guitar and looks pretty much exactly the same. So you wouldn't even fucking miss him.
You wouldn't notice.
You wouldn't notice. Dave, both. Give us both.
Yep. Favorite track, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, and I would cut Boiler. I would replace, you can't replace Michael Monroe or Andy. They're like all the guys are important to the band sound. But I'd maybe swap out Nasty Suicide with, say, Marco Peroni from the Adam Ant Band, who did a lot of the writing and weird guitar parts and stuff. But he'd probably butt heads with Andy McCoy, but it could be interesting.
That's cool. It totally works. Totally works. Ed, what do you got?
Yeah, it's great pick, Dave. All right, so Not including the cover song, because honestly, that was the best song on the album. Believe it or not, my favorite was High School, because that was my favorite harmonies, and that's the only thing I could find that I really just, the music and harmonies worked well at that small little section of that one song. So that's why I picked that. The track I would cut, it's a coin toss between Boiler or Don't You Ever Leave Me, and I would probably go with Don't You Ever Leave Me.
Oh, God.
I just do not like that song. As far as which member I would replace, I would gladly replace Michael Monroe for one David Johansen of the New York Dolls.
Yeah, it works.
Yep.
I think he would bring this band to where they needed to be.
I think it would push this band more in the direction of fucking the Dogs D'Amour. I don't think that Johansson has the vocal chops to elevate this album to the next level, but it works. It works.
No, but I think his vocals would definitely work better with what the band is playing.
You wouldn't have any of those beautiful harmonies. They'd all be gone.
Which is fine, because then it would just be focused on the band, and I'm okay with that. I like the band.
Yeah. Yeah, you could put Johnny Thunders in this band too, right? It works.
Yeah, that's pretty much what Andy McCoy was doing.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
Okay. Okay.
It all goes back to Keith Richards. You know, Keith Richards, Johnny Thunders, Andy McCoy, you know, Izzy Stradlin. You know, we're all the same guy.
Well,
You
thank
and
you
me,
for
you know.
yeah. Thank you for putting the timeline together, Dave. I think you nailed it.
Sure.
So, Fee, go ahead. Have at it.
So my favorite was definitely Boulevard of Broken Dreams. You could cut pretty much anything else for me. This was a tough one, but I went with Million Miles Away. I'm not a fan.
I think that's a mistake.
I felt that had this album had a little bit grittier of a lead vocal, it would have been better for me. More to bring it more to that 80s style that I like. So I cut Michael Monroe and replaced him with Stephen Pearcy.
I mean, okay.
It would be different, but I felt it needed to be a little more tough. Rewrite some of those lyrics, make it a little tougher. I thought it would have been fucking cool. Yeah.
Okay. So I think we all agreed that someone that we would replace would help them write up their songs a little bit, help them brush up their tunes a little bit. So
Yes.
Okay, let's just do some final thoughts. We'll score this album and we'll fucking call it a therapy session. Dave, I want you to start because I'm curious to see where your score is here on this one.
All right. So I feel like, you know, a lot of the album sounds pretty good, but, you know, it's Bob Ezrin. And was he asleep at the wheel when they were making this album? You know, with the proper treatment, this could have been a way better album than it is. You know, I don't know if it came from, you know, their resistance from the band or if this guy was just, you know, phoning it in and you know, not really doing the work with them as far as, you know, like we talked about arranging or maybe just punching up the songs just a little bit. You know, focus is kind of what they needed a little bit more of. But yeah, it was a shame. They were on the verge of getting big, and probably their next album would have been that million seller. You know, if the whole thing with Razzle didn't go down. You know, it's like they were at the edge of the cliff and they just backed right off. You know, the album is great. It contains a couple of Hanoi Rocks classics. I prefer the older albums. I'm more of a Back to Mystery City kind of guy. But if you like 80s rock, these guys had a big hand in creating it. My score is 71.
Dave, you're right. They didn't make their best album. They were about to. They were about to have the big producer. They were about to have their songs fucking brushed up, and they were about to make their best record.
Yeah, I think Bob Ezrin really kind of dropped the ball on this one.
I agree. You gave it a 71, is that right?
I did.
Okay. So I had a big long thing written. I'm not going to read it. Here it is. This is a live band. They did not capture the live show on this album, but they are Hanoi Rocks. You have to give them credit for that. My original score is 85.1, but I think we've talked this album down a little bit in my mind. This doesn't quite hit 80. I'm going to give it a 79.9 because it is Hanoi Rocks. There was a mid 80s record in here, but they didn't get it. They just didn't get it. So there it is, 79.9. Ed, what do you got?
I can see what they were trying to go for on this album, and they didn't even come close to it, in my opinion. I feel the vocal and lyrics just didn't fit the music. The instrumental parts of this album were mostly positive for me, but because the vocals kind of just dirtied up what I feel the band could have done, it's just so far below average for me. And comparing it with some of the other albums, I needed to put it in the appropriate slot for me, meaning I would definitely listen to Dez's favorite album of Jane's Addiction.
Ooh.
I would definitely listen to that over this. So my final Watt score is 39.8.
39.8. I think that might be a little low. I also would prefer to listen to Jane's Addiction. Nothing shocking over this. Fee, what do you got?
Yeah, I just kept going back to, I wish I listened to these guys when I was a kid. You know, I probably would have appreciated it a lot more and probably scored it a lot closer to what you two did. With that said, I didn't, and I don't really care for them too much outside of, like, I'll probably add Boulevard to a playlist somewhere. You know, it's a good song. I really enjoyed it the more I listened to it. So with that said, I gave this a 44. But I think had I listened to it as a kid, it would probably be somewhere in the mid 60s, somewhere like that, you know, but 44.
It's a fair score, Fee. I mean, you're average, just a little below average for you.
Yeah.
I apologize to some of the listeners out there that I know are huge Hanoi fans that are going to be like, Dad, 79.9. I mean, be honest with yourself. When you listen to it, to break it down like this, it changes the way you have to listen to the record.
Always.
And it just did. It just did. I mean, if I'm going to be fair. Okay, guys. So next week's pick is coming from the Stonewashed King. Ed, tell us what album I will be hating all week.
Well, let's do the total Watt score first, Des.
Oh, sorry. That's probably important. ADHD is kicking in hard. Please tell
yes,
us
it is. Yes,
what
it
the
is.
Watt score is for.
All right. The total Watt score for this album. Oh, my God. Whew. It is whopping. My calculator went blank. It is pushing 58.67 watts.
I almost fucking brushed over the score. Thanks for listening to this for an hour and 40 minutes, and the score is a secret. Next week.
No score.
Dave,
Come back next week.
So good.
back next week and find
Cliffhanger.
out the score. Oh, shit. Dave, where does that landed on the Breaking Vinyl chart?
Okay, that puts us at number 24 on the Breaking Vinyl chart. We've committed a crime here because it is under Hoobastank and just over the Top Gun soundtrack.
Which is our most listened to episode ever by a landslide. Who would have
Danger
guessed?
Zone.
Yeah. Fucking that Hoobastank album sucks.
I love it.
Oh, God.
Absolutely love it.
Sucks. Thank God we didn't do the Asia album, huh? Okay, so I was gonna I almost missed that whole segment. I am not qualified to be hosting this show or any show.
That's all right. You thought Dave had the next pick.
Yeah, I did. Ed, no, I was just gonna skip over you if nobody was gonna notice. Ed, please tell us what album we will be discussing next week.
All right. So I don't want to disappoint anyone. Okay. So I'm picking in epically Hall of Fame, probably my favorite band ever. And I think set the bar for every other band to follow. The Beatles. And I am going to pick Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Oh boy, it's going to be another fucking circle jerk. Sounds great.
Yeah.
I mean, what can I say? It's fucking amazing. I think.
I think when's the last time you listened to that album?
We'll find out.
All the way through in a while.
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, we now have a YouTube channel, and I want to say in 6 days, we got over 200 plays on the YouTube channel without one person saying a fucking word about even having a YouTube channel. So YouTube channel's there. I'm thinking about having t-shirts made, breaking vinyl t-shirts. I'll have something inappropriate put on the back that your mom wouldn't approve of. If you guys are interested, maybe I'll put a link up and you guys can order shirts and whatever. But that's coming up. So that's it. I won't even mention what we're doing on Hey, Did You Ever See That Movie tonight? Because fucking it's so bad. I mean, it was a good movie. It was rare exports, but it's a foreign movie, whatever. I don't know why we're doing it. Whatever. Please like the show, rate the show, share the show. It helps with the algorithm. It's going to help us be seen by other people, makes the show easier to find, makes a big difference. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Guys, thanks for joining me. Without you guys, nobody knows what the score of this album was. And that's it. Until next time, take the albums out of the sleeve and let the music breathe. See you next time.
See ya.
Adios.
Later.
That was a great episode, like always.